Okay, so hi, I'm Will Harcourt-Smith. I'm a scientist here in New York, leading a bird walk right now with a taste of science. I'm a paleontologist, actually, based at the Museum of Natural History, and also chair of anthropology at Lehman College in part of the CUNY system. And the question today is about pollinators, right? And obviously, you know, we're in the height of spring here. We've got a ton of plants needing to pollinate themselves to make sure that they can propagate and survive. And you know, we typically think of two major groups that pollinate, of course. We think of insects and we think of birds. And today we're on a birding walk. Now, we're not going to talk about insects too much, but I think it's just important to recognize that insects really are the most important pollinators. You know, but birds do play a role in pollinating, and here in the New York area. We've got a few birds, we've got particularly one bird that directly pollinates, and that's the hummingbird, the ruby-throated hummingbird, the only bird that we get here in the Northeast. And that is a direct pollinator through its gathering of nectar. And its hyper-specialization on feeding on nectar in flowering plants. But a number of other plants that bounce around a number of other birds, rather, that bounce around on plants will indirectly pollinate, and particularly what we call the wood warblers, a group of small coloured, sort of often colourful birds. They're actually feeding on insects, but you know, those insects are often around flowers, and they are you know, they're going to be bouncing around on the flowers and on the bushes, feeding on insects and picking up pollen on their hindquarters and elsewhere, and then moving to other flowers where they're going to inadvertently pollinate them. So they play a huge role in pollination, the birds, either directly, like a hummingbird, or more indirectly through these small-bodied birds, these perching birds, like American redstarts and northern parulas and yellow warblers and all these other warbler species that are passing through on the Great Migration north each spring. Okay, thanks.